And Dr. Nachi Sinha is here from his book, Empowered and Strong, Navigating Safely Through the Storms of Life. Good afternoon, how are you today?
Good afternoon. Hello. Very well, thank you, Toby. How are you?
I'm doing smashing today.
Excellent. Nice to be back.
Yes, it's nice to have you back. And the latest chapter in this book, chapter 4, I think, is
hmm
Brake, Not Accelerate. And this is probably a really common thing. I reckon a lot of people listening do this,
Yeah.
where they're approaching the traffic lights
Yeah.
and they're turning from green to amber and they
hmm
accelerate rather than braking. I mean,
Right.
if you were on a driving test, I'd imagine you'd brake, but a lot of
Well, that's the only
drivers
time. Yeah.
would accelerate, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you nailed it completely because on driving tests you would definitely brake because that's the only time you would. But you see, that's what happens in life as well, right? I mean, um, to kind of make sense of the analogy in this, I mean, because just for your listeners, I mean, I didn't write a driving test book just in case you're tuning in now. So the idea was that you got to listen to the signs. You got to see the signs and act accordingly. When the light is turned amber, that's not the point for you to put the accelerator on and go, let's go for it. Even though in life that's what we do. Case in point, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, work harder, do more, that kind of stuff. But this story is about the exact opposite of what society tells us. What I'm saying is, when you see the amber light, slow down because if you accelerate, you're going to be the guy who has the accident and the at the so in the traffic and so to speak. So in life also, when you're noticing stress, when things are getting a bit tricky, don't fall in the trap of saying, okay, I can see the amber. This is like, the stress that I've noticed, a bit of slowing down, a bit of, a problem that I'm noticing. I'm just going to try harder, do more, and I'm going to go right through it. Well, that's where the accidents happen. That's how we get unwell. That's how our lives get messed up. The trick is to slow down a bit, you know,
Yeah. And that
understand what's going on.
and that's really interesting because do you think that it is quite common for people who are stressed to just work it off maybe?
Well, not only that, but Toby, I mean, we just think about anybody who you've ever talked to. I mean, every single person that I've talked to, if I ask them about, hey, I'm kind of stuck in a difficult situation, man, or got some exams and stuff, what do I do? They'll say, well, keep at it, keep trying, try, try, try. Of course, the famous, story from Scotland, right? So that's what society is always about, isn't it? Like you got to be tough, you got to try. So this is completely different from that. The idea being that no, listen to yourself. Don't keep at it if things aren't going your way because you're getting a signal indicating that is too much. So you got to back off a bit and reanalyze the situation.
Mm.
Or even better, like for example, with students taking exams and stuff, you notice that, right? Like cramming, cramming, cramming. No, just back up, take it easy. And it does work. I mean, it worked for me. I mean, managed
Mm.
to pass med school because of that, actually.
Yeah. It's interesting though in terms of exams because revision for exams is something that
Ah,
different methods work
yeah,
differently for different people. Some people
right.
actually do better out of that cramming thing than
Yes.
taking it easy.
Well, tell you, here's a secret though. Everybody thinks that they do better out of that, right? Like
Ah,
completely stressing out and stressing out and stressing out, because that's a habit that one also picks about, going last moment and so on.
yeah.
But the point is that how much are you, maybe one time you'll be lucky passing through the green, the red, and the amber lights, and not have an accident. Maybe thrice. But sooner or later, it's going to get to us,
Mm.
and that's why, on the contrary, when you, in the context exams, for example, you've done enough, you've done what you can. There's a stress going up. The important thing is actually to back off a bit and let the mind rest, so it can, I mean, it can sort of retrieve and consolidate what it's already learned, rather than just forcing more onto it.
Yeah. And I've got a question just about the book in general here.
Yeah,
You seem to come across as perhaps a therapist or a friend that's always there
yeah,
and knows how to deal with a situation. Would you agree with that assessment?
yes. Well, you actually been quite polite. Some of my friends have said I seem to come across as a narcissistic, self-centered, I know everything kind of guy in the book. But see, the problem is that that wasn't the intention. I wasn't trying to. I am a psychiatrist. I'm a consultant psychiatrist, and so and I prescribe medication, and so I'm not definitely not a therapist from that point of view. But a lot of the stuff that you see there is, when you think about it, is quite common sense. And the reason why I thought it would be interesting was because a lot of people in my clinic were patients I was seeing and so on. I was trying to explain things. They would often comment that, that's a neat analogy. That makes sense. So I'm not an author. I don't know how to write books. And I couldn't, for the love of God, figure out how to do it in a way that it actually sounds interesting. I mean, and of course, I wanted to keep it as thin as possible. So each chapter becomes about somebody asking a question, and here I come, brimming with narcissism and oozing out of every pore. Yeah, so good assessment.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is the chapter. Let me scroll back up. Brake, not accelerate, of course. And that's from the book Empowered and Strong, Navigating Safely Through the Storms of Life by Dr. Nachi Sinha, who's here with us. Many thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.